Robbie's shift ended at 6 p.m. It is now 7 p.m. He is still here. And if you've been watching this season closely, that single hour tells you everything about what these final 3 episodes are really about. Because there's a theory on Reddit that I can't stop thinking about. Someone wrote, "I genuinely think Robbie came to work today expecting to kill himself afterwards, only to keep finding excuses as to why he can't do it." Nearly 300 upvotes. And what's terrifying about that theory is that Robbie isn't the only one. The Pitt already has an addiction story. Frank Langdon, drugs, theft, rock bottom, recovery. His addiction looks like what we expect addiction to look like. But Langdon is the decoy. He's the addiction you recognize so you don't notice the others. Every character heading into these final episodes is doing the same thing Langdon did. They're all using someone else's emergency to avoid their own crisis. The only difference? Their addictions look like virtues. The hospital is the drug. And in 3 episodes, the prescription runs out. The audience noticed the helmet, gone since episode 1. They caught the apartment offer. If I don't come back, you've got a swingin' bachelor pad. They noticed the destination, head smashed in buffalo jump, which Dana mocks as smash my head in. But everyone missed the pattern. Robbie keeps creating witnesses. He tells Whitaker about the apartment. He invites Noelle on the trip. He picks a fight with Dana that forces her to see him. These aren't careless slips. They're a man who doesn't trust himself alone, building accountability structures so someone will notice if he doesn't come back. The showrunner confirmed it. Gemmell said, "I think there's a part of Robbie that has a contingency plan that he might not come back." Noah Weil said they begin to realize that it's more of an escapist voyage than a voyage of self-discovery. And Gemmell confirmed he reread Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance for this arc. If you haven't read it, it's about a man on a motorcycle trip who already had a mental breakdown. The sabbatical was never healing. The show told you. Now look at the Ep 13 preview. Robbie says he doesn't know if Al-Hashimi is fit to run this place. People were furious about that line. But the detective read is an addict protecting his supply. Al-Hashimi is the one person who could make this ER function without Robbie. She said the department needs 2 attendings, meaning he shouldn't be doing it alone. But he hears something different. He hears, "You're replaceable." That's the trigger. For a man who is this building, being replaceable means worthless. He's manufacturing a reason to stay. The same way he manufactured Duke's CT scan as a reason to stay. The same way he found 12 hours of excuses to not walk out that door.
Duke's CT is the last hit before withdrawal. If those results come back bad, and the enlarged mediastinum suggests they will, Robbie has one more patient who needs him, one more emergency to hide behind. And if they come back fine, then every excuse collapses, and the addict is standing in front of the door with no excuse left. Robbie doesn't leave on the motorcycle. Duke's results become the catalyst for a public breakdown, not a quiet exit. I'd bet on it. But Robbie isn't the only one who's been using this hospital as a hiding place. The audience is split on this one. Will Langdon relapse or stay sober? They're asking the wrong question. Watch what Langdon does throughout this shift. He checks on Mel. He checks on Santos. He checks on colleagues. He moves through the ER making sure everyone else is okay while barely keeping himself together. Langdon's sobriety became his new drug. He can't sit still, can't be alone with his shame, so he fills every moment with someone else's crisis. He's doing the same thing Robbie does, using the hospital to avoid himself. He's just doing it sober. Patrick Ball is 4 years sober himself. He said, "I would like to believe we are not damning people who struggle with addiction, and that rehabilitation and reintegration would be part of this story. Season 3 is confirmed. A relapse would just repeat the cycle." The preview shows the most anticipated moment of the finale stretch. Mel asks Langdon, "Are you okay?" And that moment lands because almost nobody this season has treated Langdon as a person instead of a problem to manage. Everyone in this hospital takes care of everyone else. Nobody lets anyone take care of them. Langdon does not relapse. Instead, Santos's demand for a public confession forces a harder reckoning, admitting what he did, out loud, to the people he hurt. Relapse would let the audience feel sorry for him. Confession forces accountability. That's the braver choice. I feel this one in my bones. Langdon's addiction is out in the open. The next one is invisible. Everyone watching this season is terrified about this one. In episode 7, the camera catches scars on Santos's legs. Gemmill confirmed those scars aren't entirely in the past. In episode 12, she takes a scalpel from a suture cart just before Whitaker rounds the corner. Not one person saw it. The detective question isn't whether Santos will hurt herself. It's why the show is building her arc as a mirror to Robbie's. Santos is doing exactly what Robbie is doing. The difference is nobody's watching her. The entire hospital is focused on Robbie's spiral, while Santos is pocketing sharp objects in silence.
And here's what connects these two arcs. Santos told Whitaker the real wound, that someone made her question whether she belonged here on her very first day. She's been chasing that feeling of belonging ever since. She's not cutting because she's weak. She's cutting because the hospital gave her a way to feel worthy, and then that was taken from her before she even started. Earlier in the shift, she sang a Haligainon lullaby to baby Jane Doe. Gentle, tender. She can give that softness to a stranger's baby. She can't give it to herself. I watched that scene 3 times. I don't have analysis for it. I just have the image of a doctor singing a lullaby to an abandoned baby while hiding a wound nobody knows about. Sometimes the detective in me has to shut up and just sit with something. The show is building toward intervention, not tragedy. Season 3 is confirmed, and this arc points toward Langdon's public confession, the thing Santos has been demanding. The most likely interrupter is Whitaker, the only person who keeps asking her what's wrong. This will be the most gut-wrenching scene of the finale stretch. Count on it. And the next person in this building channels her pain differently, into rage. The preview gives us a moment the audience has been waiting for all season. Dana raises her voice at Robbie. Is there anything else? Yeah, you. But there's a layer underneath. Dana has been carrying unprescribed Versed in her pocket since her season 1 assault. When Emma was attacked at the end of episode 11, Dana intervened physically and sedated the attacker with a drug she's not licensed to prescribe. It saved Emma. It could end her career, and Robbie knows. She's been medicating with protection the way Robbie medicates with control. She carries that syringe because the system won't protect its nurses, so she became her own safety net. 30 years. 30 years of showing up to a job that assaults her, and the best the hospital can offer is a suggestion to press charges that goes nowhere. She tried the gentle version in episode 12. It's like you're just tempting death because you don't give a shit anymore. He didn't listen. Now she's done being gentle. Dana doesn't quit in episode 13, but she draws a line that reshapes season 3. I think the show is building something bigger than a walkout. This is a woman who's about to stop protecting a system that refuses to protect her. Dana's anger is personal, but the next story proves her point on a systemic level. Orlando is back on a gurney, head trauma, collapsed at his warehouse security job. He left the hospital against medical advice in episode 7 because he couldn't afford to stay. He was rationing insulin. Mohan warned everyone. The system shrugged.
Supriya Ganesh, the actress who plays Mohan, said episode 13 is what makes the day the worst day of Samira. She personally pitched the health insurance storyline, and Mohan's worst day lands because she was right. She diagnosed the systemic problem. She fought for Orlando. And now Orlando is lying on a gurney with a cracked skull. That's the receipt. And you can already see where this is going. Robbie is going to blame Mohan for letting Orlando leave, the same pattern as episode 10, when he berated her during a panic attack. The woman who challenges the system becomes the target for the man who is the system. And then he'll learn Orlando left AMA, against medical advice. Mohan didn't let him go. The hospital did. The insurance gap did. This is Robbie's mirror moment. He blames Mohan, discovers the truth, and for 1 second the mask slips. Whether that leads to growth or deeper spiral is the question of the finale. Will Robbie break down? Will Santos hurt herself? Will Langdon relapse? Will Dana quit? 5 questions, 5 threads. But the show isn't telling 5 stories. It's telling one story 5 times. Every person in this hospital found a way to keep going by never stopping. Robbie uses control. Dana uses protection. Santos uses pain. Langdon uses caretaking. Mohan uses advocacy. The shift was their prescription, and every single one of them was trained to diagnose this exact pattern in someone else. There's one person missing from the preview: Abbott, the man who talked Robbie off the roof in the season 1 finale, the man who told him in episode 9, "If it gets dark, you call me." His absence from this preview is the show protecting its biggest card. He doesn't need to accuse Robbie of anything. He just needs to look at him and see what he saw on that roof. The shift is over. The final 3 hours begin.